Hey everyone. It's been a while since I've given an update on where my karting situation has gone as of yet. I know I made a community post a while back saying that I was putting a lot more time, a lot more focus towards my my karting ventures. There's been a few setbacks here and there, mainly the second lockdown that's happened over the past September, which would have been like 4 or 5 months ago now. I don't know, I can't count. It's been quite a long time since that happened. It got me a bit out of shape, not gonna lie, but I've been getting back into it, and what we're seeing right now is part of that journey to get back into it. This is a practice day we did up at the Kartsport Tokoroa track up at Tokoroa, which is if you're familiar with the North Island, it's about a 3-hour drive down south from Auckland, and it is definitely worth the drive. It's a very nice scenic drive. It's a lot of grass and farmland and shit like that. It's just stuff you don't really see much up in Auckland all that often, and honestly it gives a bit of a fucking break from all the fucking miserable grey skies and fucking buildings and shit over here. Traffic jams, whatnot. Now this track down at Tokoroa, I'm going to put up a picture on screen here. I'll give you a Google Earth shot of Tokoroa on the left as opposed to Avondale on the right, the track that's closest to me. It's way more technical, it's way more kept, and it's just a whole lot better to actually like race on as opposed to fucking Avondale, because Avondale, it's on like this tiny little man-made island off the highway, and it's not well kept at all. There's like no parks, and what heavy braking zones there are on this small track, they're paved and full of fucking bumps, and if you know how braking in a kart works, you do all your braking in a straight line. And it's almost like if you hit any bumps at all, it's like that's it. You're going to lock up the brakes and slide off. And sliding in a kart, especially at that higher speed, and once it goes out on you, there's almost no saving it. So this footage was recorded on the 6th of January. It was only a couple days before my birthday, I remember that much. Me, my dad and my mum all drove up to... We drove up the day before. We stopped at... oh, I can't remember where it was. I'll probably put it on screen where we stopped. We stopped at this hotel. Now, I wanted to preface this because the footage you're seeing right now is me operating on about maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Because the way we work things when we got down here is we stopped at like one of the closest cities. I think it was like Mangawai or some shit. I don't know. I'll probably look it up. Yeah, as I said, I'll probably look it up and show a little title on screen. But anyway, this hotel we stayed at, it was one of those rooms where it's only one room, but it's got 2 big queen beds and a bathroom, which means I had to sleep in the same room as both my parents. Now we had 2 problems with this. 1, I couldn't get any privacy, and 2, my dad snores a lot. He denies it, but it happens, and I was not looking forward to it. I was woken up several times throughout the night, and my mattress felt like it was on fire the whole night, because we're in the middle of summer right now, and because, well, beginning of January is basically like dead middle of summer for us, so it was like 30-degree weather every day, and it was not a nice time. It's not a nice time if you're a fan of the cold like I am. So anyways, my mattress felt like I was being burned alive just sitting on it. The pillows were really squishy and not solid at all, so it felt like I was being asphyxiated. So anyway, to make a long story short, I woke up at like 4 in the fucking morning. I've gotten like no sleep at all. I eventually just said fuck it, got up, turned on the AC, which is directly above me. I turned it at full blast, aimed it right down at me, set it to the lowest temperature, and just flopped down on my bed and just went ah, and that did it in the end. Not that it really mattered at that point, because I got woken up at 6 in the morning from my parents getting up, because that's just the time they fucking wake up every morning, because they're no. And to put it in a way, I was very not happy. Because I knew I'd have to get a lot of sleep, and as soon as I found out it was going to be like a 1-bedroom room, I knew that wasn't going to happen. So that was my sleeping arrangement. We had to, oh yeah, and we had to leave early because we had to drive another hour from where we were staying to get to the actual track, which last time we went out there, I think it was like May last year, we stayed at the Clifton Court, which was only like a 5-minute drive from the track, which meant we didn't have to get out there till a bit later. The track opens up at I think about 9 or something, but because my parents are morning people, they like to do things very, very early, and I don't. So that's just one of the many places we differ. But anyway, getting out to the actual track, it was ridiculously hot out there. It was basically the weather for that day said it was going to rain, and if you were like us and arrive pretty much as soon as they open the gate, you would probably believe them, because it was very cloudy out. It was very overcast. It was actually quite cool to start out with, and by the time I got my third run in, it was basically looking like it was going to rain. But you'll see a bit later on in the footage, once it got to about like 12-ish, maybe about 1 p.m.-ish, the clouds just cleared right off, and it just became just like any other bright sunny day. It was like, fucking hell. Fucking that's what you get for trusting the weather, I guess. That's how it worked out in the end, and can't say if it was for better or for worse, because it definitely did help us out on the track. Even with all the cloud cover, the track was still pretty cool when we got out there. I mean, you'd obviously expect it to be cool, but even after the first couple of runs, the track was really, really cold, and karting on a cold track means the handling is going to be extremely loose. It'll be almost the same as if the track was just filled with grease, basically. You've got almost no handling. So basically, this whole trip was kind of an experiment for me to test how I would actually record onboard footage from my kart, because what a lot of people would do, particularly with GoPro footage, is they will stick on a little stand onto the top of their radiator mount, and then clip their GoPro onto the top and just record from there. Like, you can try cable tying it to the top of the radiator mount, which is what I did, but the only problem with this is that my radiator mount is not completely straight. It's actually on quite a bit of an angle. In absence of having no other place to put it, no other stands to use, I decided to just press forward with it and record on an angle, which I know it might not look the best, and the amount of vibrations going through the camera really didn't help either, but I've applied some stabilizing effects in Vegas, and hopefully that sorts it out, but it probably won't. But yeah, horses for courses, I guess. You'll see a bit later on, as the day goes on and the sun starts to come out a bit more, the camera is not going to be staying level with the track a lot of the time, and part of that was down to just me not checking the screw in between runs, which I probably should have done. But to be honest, like, if you were out there like in 30 degrees in this black fire suit, black gloves, like a rib protector, again 30-degree weather, which for over here is quite hot. It was extremely draining, just keeping myself hydrated and just cooling down and just giving my more than anything else, just giving my hands a break, my hands and wrists especially. It just takes so much out of you in between runs. Like, other than that little back straight, there really isn't like any place on the track you can really like wind down at all. And that's another thing about karting that I've learnt the more that I've done it, is that it's more reactions more than anything. You've just got to be like 100% focused all the time, and if you're not thinking about what you absolutely need to be thinking about a lot of the time, you're going to find it very hard to concentrate, because you definitely need all the concentration you can get if you want to be like consistent and good, particularly as I said around a kart track where the handling is very specialized and it's a lot different from what you'd expect in like a car if you were sim racing or anything. None of that carries over. A kart and a car are completely different things, and it's like a whole new learning process you've got to go through if you want to like have any kind of speed. So anyway, I probably will be going out to Tokoroa probably a lot more. And to be honest, given that both my experiences at Tokoroa thus far have just been nothing but positive, and all my Avondale experiences have been nothing but shit, we'll probably be heading out to Tokoroa a lot more, which will give me a chance to just further smooth out this whole recording process with the GoPro, and hopefully make the viewing experience a bit better. I can't do much about the vibrations, unfortunately, but needless to say, I definitely will be remembering to tighten up that little clip in between runs. I mean, well, hopefully I'll get a bit more sleep so I can remember to do that in the first place. Now this entire little track day I'm running in right now is actually part of what the karting company that I bought my kart package from do, and it's basically like what they call a boot camp day, which is basically like a day or two depending, of basically just flat out it's mainly for newbies, like, and also real young children as well who are just getting into it. A whole day of just running, running around, just turning laps throughout the whole day, and just seeing what you need to improve and what you're already doing right and what you can do to improve it. Because I mean, that's just the thing about racing in general. There's always stuff you can improve on, no matter how good you are. The company's name is Right Karts, by the way. They're run by a guy called Richard. It's basically like not quite, but it's almost a family operation. It's basically him and his son. He's not that much older than me, actually. He's only about like, I think he's in his like late 20s by now, but he's like a international karting champion on like a US national team and shit, and whatever. The point is, he knows shit and can help people. What he basically does is he rides up in front of you for a couple of laps, and then he'll drop behind you and then look at like how you're taking corners and all that, and then once the run's over, he'll basically just tell you about everything he saw and what you're doing right and wrong and what you can do to improve it. What he told me is that I'm not braking in a straight line, because I was driving a car, trail braking, it would have been beneficial, but in a kart it's not the case at all. Your brakes are only on your rear wheels, so like weight transfers in going into and coming out of corners aren't really like a thing you've got to worry about. It's basically all just modulating your throttle and just controlling that, which was one of the things that I wasn't doing well that day. You would have seen it a few times already. There's a corner up the back just coming up the hill. I get really throttle happy just coming off the corner, and honestly it's a problem I have in real life too. I mean, not like driving cars in real life, I mean just when I'm sim racing and all that. It's just being way too throttle happy, because coming out of a slow corner, it's just really tempting to get on the power and just get right up to speed as soon as you can, but you oftentimes forget that smooth is fast. You've really got to just keep that in mind whenever you're trying to, set lap times or whatever. Using all of the track was another big thing I have to work on. The theory being is that you pay to use the whole track, you might as well use all of it. And for obvious reasons, I think anyone could understand what that means. Now I've never really been one to like talk over footage like this. To be honest, it's really hard just stringing my thoughts together to just know what I'm gonna say and not just sound like a blithering fucking moron the whole time. But I really did want to like bring some footage like this to the channel and put some commentary over it, just because it is a very fun thing to do. Honestly, I love karting. I wish I could do it more, but unfortunately just where I live just makes it a real big trek to make even like a practice day possible. But I'm fairly confident behind the wheel now. It's been about a year and a half now to this point since I bought the kart, so hopefully next time I go out will be for an actual club day, which means next time you'll see me in a kart, it'll be during an actual race. So look forward to that. In the meantime, save money and follow your dreams, I guess. Take it easy.
With the card on the scales, it's 73 kilos.
Just cab on side?
Yeah, 73. Or what the hell?
Is that good, bad, or indifferent? Or?